Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I'm doing well, I guess. My husband decided he was going to finish his little project today, his little Lego project. He wanted me to cut things out, and I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not good at it. I know my limitations. I do not draw nor cut straight lines ever for any reason, no matter how short, they're going to be off. So he ended up cutting them. And then I peeled them because I'm good at peeling. They were stickers. I'm good at peeling stickers. I'm good at getting out knots. I'm not good at cutting or drawing. We all have our strengths. That is not mine. Anyway, he left. He says, I'll see you after work. So he left. 30 minutes later, he's back in the house. He forgot to put on two of the stickers. Like, really, dude? Come on. Nobody's going to notice if you forget to put on the stickers. He did. So there's a Halo Burger in downtown Flint. It's been there forever. Um, but it's been closed since COVID. At first, we thought it was closed because of COVID, and then we didn't know what was going on, but we figured it wasn't going to open back up because it's been closed for years. Well, they're opening it back up. They got new owners of the building. Actually, I think Halo Burger might have bought the building. The building was up for sale, and their lease was not renewed. So that's why it was closed. So now they're opening it back up again. And he made a Lego model of the building, and it has taken weeks. He was up till 10. He was down stairs. Usually he'll come up about 8 o'clock at night. He'll go downstairs after dinner, um, play with his Lego or his 3D printer or whatever he's doing. Um, I'll try to get some pictures of it. It does look very cute. It's very cute. It took him a lot of time and effort to figure out some things. Some angles are not Lego friendly, but it turned out really cute. The stickers are awesome because he's good at stuff like that. Um, I can't believe he got halfway to almost, well, a quarter of the way to work and then decided he had to come back home. Goof. Such a goof. Anyway, so he's off now finally with his little Lego project. Um, I don't know, maybe he'll get in the paper or something, I'm not sure. Oh, so that's been my morning, peeling stickers for a Lego project. I did get my today's I like so I figured out this is how how I can do it, and it seems to work okay. In the morning, I watch whatever reality show we're gonna do for reality roundup the next the next day because the previous day has been done by then. Um, so I watch that show, and then I read the one that I did the day before, and then that afternoon I write up what I watch it again and write about what I already wrote. I think watching it before, just watching it, is good. It works for me because I get to A, somehow enjoy it, and B, I kinda know where things are gonna be tense and where I can kind of ignore them a little bit. So that's been working better. So today for Reality Roundup, we have Sister Wives. Season 20, episode 18, One-on-One Part 3. And this is not nearly as long because it's boring as heck. They're rehashing everything they've already said, and it drives me insane. So when we open, David is continuing to complain that Cody said he released Christine, saying that when Christine said she was done and left, that was that. There was no releasing her. She's not property, and he's correct. She's not property. He says that's a power play and a mind game, and you don't do that to another human being. And I'm on his side on this. Cody had nothing to release Christine for. They were never legally married. Um, he's been crap father to all of her kids, all of them. Um, so yeah, no. He didn't need to release her from anything. She disappeared. She left. She left and he left, and who cares how he thinks about it, to be honest, because I wouldn't. Um, then they whine some more about him saying he loved her, past tense, and Robin not being there. And then they go to present tense, and Suki keeps talking like it's present tense, and that's not what he said. He said loved, not love. Robin says they wanted David there, and it was appropriate because he was there. Then they go over his apology to Janelle, and he said she was the safest, kindest option to start out with. Then they rehash all the stuff from when she first joined the family, which was a lot, and I didn't write all of it down because a lot of it seems petty, like when to wash the dishes. And I swear we've seen all this before. Okay, so a couple of notes. Janelle says that Mary and Cody equally wanted her in the family. She said she had a comfort from with Cody from the first time she saw him, and that she asked to join their family. So, did they both want you in the family, or were you pushing your way into the family, Janelle? Mary has baggage because Janelle was her sister-in-law. She was divorced from Mary's brother. Mary says Janelle wanted her sons to have Cody's build. I'm sorry, that's not disturbing at all. Things like that. It's so weird. You marry some guy because of how he looks and not how he acts. Because he don't act right. Has he ever acted right? Probably not. Um, Suki called Cody out on the wives competing. He says he was not promoting it. That doesn't matter if you're promoting it or not. If you don't have to promote something to like it. um, and that's the discussion, is that these polygamy guys like their wives fighting over their affection, which is gross, by the way. But yeah, you don't have to promote that in order to enjoy it. You can just sit back and watch the fireworks over your wives fighting over you. It's silly. He still says David knows nothing about polygamy, and David says he was only talking about his experiences. David says he's been around polygamy longer than Cody was in it, and he says he doesn't have to live with it to understand it. Then they go on to talk about egos and how men have egos and all of this stuff about egos. And everybody agrees that Cody has a big ego, and like that wasn't obvious. Robin and Janelle say they never felt they had to compete for Cody's affection. Mary believes that she wasn't competing because she was all about how she had to change to be accepted and couldn't do anything right. If you have to be changed to be accepted, your husband doesn't love you, or your spouse, or your boyfriend or girlfriend. If you feel like you have to change all the time. She was competing. I think all of them were probably competing. There was some things that were said, done early, in earlier seasons that show that they always competed. And Robin won the competition. Robin gets all of the affection now. The women all agree that Cody's apology was for himself and himself only. And we end with Cody saying one of them, between him and Mary, drew first blood. And then he says something that sounds like he thought she did. And then it ends. And I mean, all of this was just hashing all of this ego stuff and all of the competing stuff and all of the early years with Janelle stuff. That's all the whole thing was about. And I don't feel like repeating all of it because it was petty and stupid, most of it. I mean, the dish thing, Mary wanted the dishes done at night, perfectly understandable. Janelle wanted them to wait till morning, which, I mean, there's something to be said about having the dishes done at night. You don't have to have them all done at night. And I'm sure Janelle was exhausted because she had an actual job. She's always had an actual job and always worked. So I can understand where she wouldn't want to like go to work all day, come home, make dinner, and then do the dishes. Somebody else should have been doing that. Mary, Cody. All right, next we have Murdered by Words, and it is entitled It Was Staged and I'm Tired of Pretending It Wasn't. Listen, God redirected the bullet directly into a firefighter to save the geriatric. You know what? Chief Yoku says, on that day, God said, not today. It has a nice little graphic of the bullet whizzing by. It's crazy. That whole thing is, I don't know what to think about it most of the time. It sure doesn't seem on the up and up. He did not get. I saw a bullet, somebody that had been shot in the ear by a bullet, and his ear is perfectly fine. There is nothing different about his ear at all. Oh, that's a good point. FYI, a bullet moving front to rear would leave a blood blowback, not blood on the face. Notice there's no blood in his ear behind his ear. I mean, that's a good point. And here's the picture. There is a picture. Like the bullet, because the bullet's going that way. This makes no sense. I don't understand it. Everyone's saying it was completely fake. I don't know. Cartilage does not grow back, especially on an 80-year-old with health problems. I mean, in your 20s it might, but no. And even Maggot getting this coming around on that it wasn't, he didn't really get shot. I'm not saying there's not an assassin, but he didn't get shot at all. Next, we have Arches National Park review from Claude in South Dakota. Be aware, and be prepared. Look, this is an absolutely beautiful place, breathtaking. But we are loving this place to death. The line to get in a weekday before Memorial Weekend was just over 2 hours. No kidding. We camped here, made a reservation 6 months prior, literally at 12:01 a.m. the day reservations opened up. This is why they have reservations, though. It's why you stood in line for 2 hours. They're trying to keep people out. So it's not loved to death. Lines were to get in were so long every day, we just didn't even try to go out to dinner in Moab. We stayed in the park. Roads were so full of cars. Every turnout was jam-packed. Delicate Arch was more like rush hour in Manhattan than a pleasant hike. Traffic snafus all over the park. No parking at Devil's Garden. I mean, it was awful. If you reserve as early as possible, enter the park as early as possible, and be prepared for big crowds. The week before Memorial Day? Yeah, you should be prepared for big crowds. That's when people are going on vacation. The last hurrah before school starts and starts getting cold and stuff like that. This next one is from What Should I Do? And is entitled Am I Crazy for Thinking This? And it is flared as or noted as not safe for work. So be prepared. Oh, it's not that bad. I slept over at my brother's house recently and I woke up to what looks like a needle puncture wound and blood on my sheets where the arm would have been. I don't feel like my brother would do something like this, but am I insane for running this scenario in my head? Is this what a puncture wound from a shot would look like? I mean, I don't think so. A shot of what, though? And is that a bug right there? Is that a bug right there? I bet you that's a bug right there. I bet you this is a bug bite. There's a bug literally right there. That Bed bugs too, probably. Top rated comment is from Maxi Bond, and they say, Pathology collection student here. That doesn't look like a needle puncture to me, but it does look concerning. They don't typically bruise like that. It's probably a bug bite, but if you're concerned, you should see a doctor ASAP to get tested for illicit substances or blood diseases. If you feel unwell, call an ambulance immediately. To those who say it's not quite on the vein, veins aren't tacked to the skin. They move independently, so a track mark can absolutely be somewhere you don't see a vein because the skin or the vein have simply moved. Veins are not always visible. That's true. And OP says she's concerned because her brother and her had a falling out, and his girlfriend holds grudges, and she has a history of doing crazy things. Yeah, that's weird that she's concerned that way. Somebody said check other spots for bed bug bites. Bed bugs is also somebody else's first thought. I swear there was a spider or something over there bigger than bed bug. The rules of Reddit are wise to remember. 1, you're pregnant. 2, check your carbon monoxide detector. 3, you have bed bugs. 4, your partner is a narcissist. 5, that porcelain crack in your toilet will kill you. Oh, she forgot 6. It's a brain tumor. It's the other one. It's a brain tumor. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it's entitled, My girlfriend spent 2 years telling me to say yes. I say yes too much and then asked me to dog sit for a week. We already read that one. Oh, shoot. You know what? I did the wrong one, I think. Well, I kind of done all the wrong one. No, just that one. That's weird. Hold on. I don't know why that one's there. Um, but let me get a gooder one, a better one for that one because that one we read yesterday. I don't know why it's taking so long. Hello, come on. There we go. Um, oh, this is the one we should have read today. Yeah. Like the other one is not the same. I don't understand what I did. I am very bad. Okay, this is from malicious compliance, and it is entitled "My brother-in-law told me to stop asking where everything goes in his house and just use common sense." Oh boy, my sister and her husband bought a house last fall. Ever since then, visiting them has felt like walking into a very nice Airbnb run by one irritated man. He has a rule for everything, but only after you break it. Shoes by the bench, except not that side of the bench because that side is for the dog leash. Mugs in the blue cabinet, except not in the front half because those are for guests. Dish towel, oh, okay, you're not a guest. Dish towels on the oven handle, except one of them is decorative somehow. Last weekend, I was there helping my sister paint the spare bedroom, and by noon, I had already gotten corrected 4 times for putting things in the wrong place. When I asked where he wanted the paint tray washed, he sighed and said, You don't need a guided tour every 10 minutes. Just use common sense and act like you live here. Dude, have you met you? So I said, okay, literally did say it nicely because at that point I was getting annoyed too. So I acted like they lived here. I rinsed the tray in the big utility sink, used a roll of paper towel under it, put the dog food scoop back in the bin with the food, stacked the dried dishes in the cabinet that was literally next to the sink. About 20 minutes later, he came downstairs looking for like his soul had left his body. The paper towels were apparently for only garbage spills. What? Who has rules for paper towels, please? The scoop cannot touch the food because of germs, even though it lives in the food bin. The cabinet I used was not for plates, it was for serving pieces. What are plates? Um, my sister started laughing so hard she had to sit down on the stairs. He said I was being smart with him, and I told him no, I was using common sense and acting like I lived there. Now there are labors inside half the kitchen, which honestly seems definitely easier for everybody. Top rated comment is from Free Will is Arson. Says, tell you what, I'm going to designate this spot right here as the central depot, where I would put everything that I'm done with for you to collect and return to your preferred place. And more of a Jordan says, actually, this is a great idea. Tacos or Justice says, is your sister okay? This guy sounds miserable to live with. Flatulent Opossum says that my ex-wife was like the brother-in-law. She had undiagnosed OCD since diagnosed and was miserable to live with. Yeah, if you have undiagnosed OCD, that's very possible that he has that because you can be really unhinged about stuff that's not. And it's a lot of stuff. It's not just one thing. Like I can be kind of upset because somebody put something in the wrong drawer and it always goes in the other drawer and I can't find it. Um But it's not everything, and I don't get unhinged about it, it's just like, I can't find it. I get unhinged about not being able to find it, not that somebody put it away wrong, but that I can't find it when I need it. Like, yes, last night, I forgot to make dinner. I forgot to make dinner on time. So, I was rushing around while my husband was coming home from work, which it should have been half done, and I would should have put it in the been putting it in the oven. I was still making it when he got home, which is not good. But, I was becoming a little unhinged because nothing was working. Like, couldn't get the salsa jar open. Um, I have I have a really nice mandolin type thing, but I couldn't figure out how to get the it has different attachments, that you stick in it. And for some reason, I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get the pieces of like I had to shred cheese. I couldn't get figure out how to get the shredder on it to work. So I'm gonna have to look that up again. And I've used it before for other similar shaped, um, similarly shaped utensils, but I couldn't figure it out last night. I ended up getting the old crappy shredder out, and then I didn't even need it at that point. How bad it was. Impossible Bug says is the third top rated comment, and he says, he sounds exhausting, sir. If you're going to be that particular about everything, then get used to communicating in detail. Exactly. Chef Jenga says he's either power tripping or maybe a counseling appointment is in order. Everybody likes things how they like them, but it seems like his I like it this way is possibly flirting with compulsive. OP says the label cabinets are the first thing he's done that has helped more than scare people. Oh, that's terrifying. Evil Buildings, the Mitsubishi UBE cement factory. Have you ever seen that factory? They're really cool. There's one not too far. But that is Evil. That is a big cement factory, man. And it's my understanding. Oh, that's Japan. Never mind. It's not China. China, they're some crap, by the way. Apparently, in one building in China, um, the cement was just a facade, and it was literally like um, styrofoam board inside. The building was styrofoam board. Let that sink in. Styrofoam styrofoam board with a facade of cement over it. That would be great in a earthquake, wouldn't it? Next is AITAH and is entitled AITAH for telling my sister in law I won't be going out to eat with her family again if her husband and youngest are going to. Interesting. Let me start off with I have a great relationship with my sister in law and her older kids, 18 and 16. I thought I had a great relationship with husband 46 and youngest 13 until last night's dinner. We went to a nicer Italian restaurant and I was completely embarrassed and furious with the way they acted. Husband was complaining about everything from where we had to park, why we had to wait when we had reservations, which he made us late for by taking his sweet time getting ready, to the prices and the menu options. We get apps enough for everyone to have at least two of each thing, and he grabs all half of all of them because he couldn't wait to eat, and then complains about whether he can with the food. I don't know what that means. 13-year-old is wearing pajama pants and a torn up hoodie because dad said it was fine. But it wasn't, but they still sat us. Yeah, it was a nicer restaurant. You don't go around like that. Waiter comes to take our order. Husband orders some crazy modified pizza and bitched when they charged accordingly. 13-year-old couldn't order for themselves. I don't know, whatever. Me and sister-in-law have both worked in restaurants for years, and this is the part that made me want to leave. Husband has both earbuds in watching anime at the table. Is he 12? Scratch 6? And shakes his empty Mountain Dew glass at the waiter, then laughs about how he didn't have to say anything or to get a refill. Wow. Just because you didn't have to say anything doesn't mean you weren't rude. Check comes and one of the apps I was paying for was on their bill. Easy fix, but husband yells, how hard is it to do it right the first time? That's when I almost lost it and just followed the waiter to the POS. And I know what that means, and it's not coming to me right now. Point of sale. To point of sale and paid for me and the two oldest food. Said bye to sister in law, the two oldest, and left. She later called me and asked if they did something wrong, so I laid out about how embarrassing her husband and youngest were. I was told that no one else there had a problem with them. Then I get a call from mother-in-law thanking me for being the only other person to call at least the husband out for his crap. So am I the a-hole or was I right to be embarrassed and pissed off? This is my wife's sister's family. My wife passed in 22. You don't say how old the parents are or how old you are. But man, when your sister's mother-in-law is calling you saying thanks, it's really saying something. Top rated comment is from Tarara Boom Da. It's the way it's printed. It's hilarious. If mother-in-law was thanking you, then NTA and brother-in-law obviously is. OP says not brother-in-law, haha. That is used for the actual brother-in-law, the husband and the husbands that are liked. Tarara Boom Da says sorry, sister-in-law's husband, then he is the a-hole here. Ice Seeker says Mill must have the same experience. Can't imagine being at the same table with that guy. He's an embarrassment. NTA. Syl is used to this kind of behavior from her husband to the point that she thinks it was just normal. How sad. It's nice of OP, by the way, to was that nieces? Neblings, I guess. To pay for the two older neblings. She didn't have to do that. That was nice of her. Travesty says, is the second top rated comment, says NTA, 46-year-old with earbuds watching anime in a nicer Italian restaurant and acting that way, he's a child. Arando Jin says, yeah, my partner and I enjoy anime. We are in our 30s and 40s. However, if we go anywhere for food, including nice restaurants, no phones on the table. How bloody rude. We do phones on the table, but that's because we don't like talking. We talk to each other enough. We don't go out to dinner to just talk. I realize people have to do we used to do that when the kids were little. But now we can just talk whenever we want because we're the only ones here. What else are we gonna do? So when we go out to eat, usually we're not talking all that much. We've already said everything. Now, if it was a really nice restaurant, we obviously would not do that. Narangim says, NTA, and quotes the I was told no one else has a problem with it. That still knows of. Maybe now that you've spoken up and survived, others will start. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. Next, we have from the subreddit Neighbors from Hell. Neighbor keeps dumping water on driveway even though it's below freezing. And this is an update. So I think. Okay, I do think I need to go find the original. And the account's been banned. Oh. Of course, that's still up. So let me try something else here. Now it doesn't have the original, looks like. Try one more thing. Oh, that's weird. The original is not there. Okay. Okay. It was on. I don't like it when they put the update in the top. Put it below so that people can read in order, time, chronological order. Please. uh I honestly don't know what to do about this woman anymore. We're next door neighbors with driveways right next to each other. We got along fine until my boyfriend, now husband, moved in. After that, she suddenly started looking at any excuse to start drama. First was our dogs. She started calling animal control because our dogs would walk from our front door to the backyard without a leash, still on our own property. She put a ring camera on her side door pointed at our driveway to watch us. So we put up a fence along the concrete between the houses so she couldn't just sit there spying all day. She complained to the city about the fence and then started arguing over property lines. She calls the police over everything. Someone stepped a foot on her side of the driveway. Someone walked on the public sidewalk in front of her house. Someone how do you complain about that? Someone parked in front of her place in the street. When I started running my home business, she began harassing my customers about where they parked. She reported my business to the city and really pushed to get it shut down. She would take pictures of cars that stopped for a second in front of my side of the driveway just to drop someone off, then act like they were fully parked there and blocking her. Eventually, someone from the city actually did look into all of it and realized she was lying. They told me uh, to the police and the city wouldn't be responding to her complaints anymore. After 4 dog at large cases for my dogs being loose in my own yard got dismissed. I'm pretty sure animal control is also over her nonsense. So now her new stunt. I caught her early one morning in 20-degree weather dumping 2 buckets of water on the shared part of the driveway. If someone parked in my driveway and got out on the passenger side, they would almost definitely be hit at that ice and fall. I have all of this on camera. Do I have legal options here, or do I seriously have to wait until someone gets hurt before anything can be done? So the update is I filed a police report. Thanks to everyone for the advice and comments. A few things people kept asking about. She's not old, confused, or dealing with dementia. She's calculated and knows exactly how to work the system. For years, she's known how to harass me legally with nonstop calls and complaints. She's good at twisting things, though her lies and exaggerations sounded believable. One tactic stopped working, she always found a new angle. That's not someone whose mind is gone. Maybe she has some mental health issues, but she's not out of touch with the reality, and whatever is going on with her is not my responsibility. My business is not the issue to here. It's just that what she moved onto once the animal control and the police stopped taking her seriously. There isn't a bunch of traffic, no more than if a few friends came by during the day. I'm fully legit. I have neighbors on the other side across the street, and behind me, not a single other person has complained. She's black, and so are we. So it's not some race thing, but my husband's ex is white and his kids are mixed. When she and I argued once, she randomly said, "That's why you and your husband likes that's why your husband likes white women. That's why he got white kids." It was creepy and weird that she would even know or care about that. His mixed kids are the same collection complexion or or darker than my black child, so she wouldn't know that just by seeing them outside. I've always felt like she's lonely, bitter, and jealous, and that comment pretty much confirmed it for me. People are so weird. So weird. Wolf Crown Box says, give your video to the police and see what they can say, combined with proof of the false complaints, and see if it's enough to get a restraining order. Sugar and Spice Whirl answers, I know it's exhausting living next to this energy every day. You shouldn't have to play defense in your own home. Protect yourself legally now so you're not scrambling later if somebody gets hurt. Yeah, that's for sure. Extreme Famous says, let your insurance company or companies, if your business insurance is different from your home insurance, know that this woman looks to be attempting to stage an accident on your property. File a report with the police with the evidence. Then I would get some grit so that each time she tries to ice up the driveway, I could undo that after I gathered the evidence and sent it along to the police each time she does it. Smilesaurus says, OP should definitely contact the police. This woman is harassing her and her family and is also trespassing if she's standing in OP's driveway while pouring the water. And the dumbass proves she's harassing OP with all of the calls she made to animal control, etc. The police do not like being used and will get fed up with this woman if they aren't already. Disgusted and turned on says, you can probably gather all the false claims along with the video and press legal action. That's harassment through and through. So everyone agrees she's harassing them. She should get a restraining order. And that lady should go to jail because you know she's gonna defy this restraining order. Because that's what they do. They don't think any rules apply to them. Next, we have Benign Existence, and it is entitled Grandma and Algorithm. When I was last visiting my hometown, I logged into my YouTube account on my grandma's TV, and I neglected to log out. A few months later, I noticed some unusual recommendation to my suggested feed. Okay, that is, I guess, how the algorithm works. Then I started knowing videos I had planned to watch later were watched already. Then I checked my history. They were watched already, along with videos I definitely never watched. When my parents came to visit, I asked if Grandma had been using my account. And yes, she was the one watching all the Beaver Dam collapsing videos and scandals of long dead British monarchs. Grandma has thus far subscribed to one quilting channel for me and liked some recipes. Well, at first I was worried my algorithm was going crazy. I reflected and now I'm okay with screwing with stored data on my preferences. Overall, it has been a joy to see what she's into and our interests overlap. I did, however, have to block a channel doing horsehoof obsessed trainings because that's a bridge too far. You're not being forced to watch them. Let her watch her horsehoof obsessed training videos. She might learn something, and you might too. Helgi says, wait, she's into the abscess and you aren't? Abscesses and you aren't? Way to go, Grandma. Woo! Large Mirage Sentia says, Oh, with large Marge sent ya. Says hoof repairs are so satisfying. I'm gonna have to look that up, I guess. Emergency ad says, OMG, they are way better than pimple popping. Okay, note to self, look up horse abscess. I guess I should just look up hoof repairs, not roof repairs, hoof repairs. Second top rated comment is from Inner Initiative, and it says, I wish I could get a sneak peek of what grandma would have watched on YouTube. I don't think she'd like ASMR as much though. Nate the hoof guy is great. There's a hoof guy named Nate. Where have I been? Alpha Delta says that's so cute. I wish I could. No, my grandma's long gone, but I could get my grandma to watch my video or anybody's grandma. Tell your grandmas. Next, we have Found Satan, and it is entitled "Best Trip Ever." It's from Sandy Sagan, or she can't tell. They say my dream is to go to Italy and say no, it's Olive Garden at every restaurant I eat. That's not that's not cool. No, it's Olive Garden. It's no Olive Garden. um, Three Pac says, or Epoch. Oh, I think it's supposed to be Epoch. Okay. Epoch says, bold of you to assume most of us Europeans know what Olive Garden is. Free Willy Bird says, don't say that too loud, or there'll be 17 of them in your city and within months. They can spread like chicken pox, even the last place you'd expect. Once they hook you on their endless breadsticks, which must be coated in heroin or something, it's over, man. It's over. uh, I'm not saying this guy's name because it's disgusting and inappropriate. Says two outcomes. One, which is most likely, WTF is Olive Garden. The next second, you will get deported, but due to point one, it's unlikely. Aldemar DE says Italians don't know that Olive Garden exists, and if they knew, they would scoff at it. And deleted as a British 24-year-old. I don't even know what WTF garden. Well, Olive Garden. And I had to search it up, and I've been on the internet for time. Apparently, there's no Olive Garden. Okay, this is from Just No Mill. I think we already read this. No, I don't. So this is the woman who defrauded her her son, I think it was, her brother or son, out of $72,000 from the from a house purchase that she kind of forced them into. I think it was their kids. Okay. I'm packing my bags tonight. I'm going to live with my parents until we can move into our rental. I don't know if the relationship can survive at this stage. I've done more than my share. I'm linking previous post contacts because the situation escalated in a way I cannot abide. And we did read that one previously. There was supposed to be a meeting with a broker to discuss the house and mortgage situation. The meeting had been booked for this evening. Everyone involved believed that was still the plan. The broker. Okay, we knew about that part. Did I not? Did I read this? I'm not sure. The thing that's making me suspicious is we were previously told by the broker that a buyout like this wasn't financially possible. So the sudden claim that everything is now simple and resolved doesn't add up. My partner is now saying he just wants the whole situation over with and is going to accept the payout and walk away. From my perspective, yeah, we already read this. All right, let me find another one. I don't know why it wasn't marked that way. Yeah, I don't know why that one wasn't marked. I'm going to get a different one. It's easy enough to do. And this one needs to be peachy. Okay. Just no mother-in-law. My husband and I agreed to see his parents every other weekend after the baby, but the boundary is already being ignored. My husband and I used to visit his parents every Saturday before our baby was born. After the baby arrived, we talked and agreed that things would change and we would meet his parents alternate Saturday instead of every week. That's a lot. Meeting with anybody every week is a lot and completely unnecessary. I don't even see my kids that live in town once a week, except for when they drop the kids off for babysitting, and that's not even the same person all the time. One of the main reasons we made this decision was because weekends are the only real time we have together as a family. Exactly. We wanted some weekends to be just for us spending time together as a family instead of sitting with the in laws every single weekend. Before the baby, I didn't mind doing that, but now that we have the baby, I want some weekends to be just for our little family. Recently, my husband told me that his parents are coming over Monday to see the baby. That's fine. What's wrong with that? What bothers me is even more is that we just came to this new arrangement. It hasn't even been a week. Yet they are already planning to come over outside of what we agreed on. Why are you gatekeeping visits? That's weird. My kids are welcome in my home anytime. I'm welcome in my dad's home anytime I want to go. Recently, my husband told me that his parents are coming. Another reason this is hard for me is because I don't have a good relationship with his mom. She often makes negative comments and taunts me and says she doesn't like me. Well, that's mean, and I can see why you wouldn't want her around. But I don't think that them coming over on a Monday, are they coming over uninvited? I can see both sides of this. Because of that, being around her is emotionally draining on me. So why were you going over there every week? I wouldn't put myself through that. It makes me feel like my comfort and the agreement we made aren't being respected. And am I wrong for feeling this way or expecting my husband to stick to the boundary we set? Well, you didn't set a boundary that you would only see them every other week. You set a boundary that you wouldn't be going over to their house every other week. Now, if you want a different boundary that they're not welcome in your house, that's fine, but you need to make that clear because the only boundary that was set was that you weren't going to see them every weekend. Watch what happens says every weekend. Christ, I work full time office hours, so weekends are for me to try and get errands done, entertain my kiddo, and have a meaningful meal with my husband. Although we typically sit together at dinner nightly. If they're already causing you stress, it's time to reevaluate, please. Business Loqua says, "Oof, that still sounds like too much." I agree. Once a month is fine. When we were first married, we went to visit my husband's family. They were much closer than mine, about once a month. And then after we had kids, it dropped off like a lot, like a lot, a lot. You're busy when you have kids. PBD says, hold the boundary. Don't change the boundary. Don't cancel Saturday because they want to come Monday. It's important that you stick to every other Saturday like you originally said. You need to show them that your boundaries are firm, not something they can negotiate. I still say it's not a clear boundary. You said you wouldn't go over there except for every other Saturday. Um, Never said that they couldn't come see you. So you need to make your boundary more clear. If you don't want them over, that's fine. I understand that being how your mother-in-law is, but no. Next is retail hell. Gas station customers in a nutshell. And we have sad SpongeBob. Says spending uh, 229 on a snake cat and a happy SpongeBob spending $50 on lottery tickets that won't win anything. um, guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. No, I've never ever spent 50. I've never spent $3 on lottery tickets. I have spent money on lottery tickets, but that's only when it gets really high and there's that off chance and it doesn't cost that much. And you could get lucky, but you're probably not. Blame tag. Oh, people are reporting it as not retail, but it is. Mod got mad. Hey, whoever keeps reporting this thread and every comment in it, please stop. We define retail as any business that sells to the final customer in the spirit of inclusion. If you don't like gas station posts, you're welcome to ignore them, or better, better yet, wang off. Are we being brigaded by r/lottery? uh, First top comment is from Junkie Boy, and they say, I presume it's a boy, it's a he, says, or the "I never win anything on these," along with the sigh and deep, genuine sadness on their face, proceeds to buy 50 more. Uh, PQ Bird says, one time a woman bought $500 worth of Google Play gift cards and then complained about the price of Gatorade. I genuinely didn't know what to say. Okay, Spell says, I really hate the people who bought a lot of Google Play cards. As someone who was buying more than one card was worth $100, we were supposed to start asking questions to see if they were scammed. And you should, because people are being scammed. I know somebody. I never have a customer say, oh, it's for your grandkids, or oh, it's for whatever game. They always got super defensive about it and would tell us it's none of our business for what they want it for. Dude, I don't care if you're going to blow $1,500 on Candy Crush or you're sending them to your grandkids. I just want to make sure you don't get sent here by some dude claiming your grandkids is in jail and that you can post bail with Google Play. And since you're refusing to answer now my boss wants me to not sell them to you. 24666 says, my grandpa once got a call that his grandchild was in jail while his only grandchildren were sitting next to him. My dad got a call that saying my son was in jail. He caught on to it, thankfully. It's like, "What jail are you in?" And they said someplace in Michigan. And he's like, "Yeah, you're and no. My kid's in Arkansas right now. I know that's not you." Okay, Spell says, "I don't get calls anymore, but I used to like wasting their time and seeing how weird I could get before they caught on. Took a little inspiration from Kit Boga. I don't know who that is. My baby boy got arrested. Was it because of the clowns? I told that boy 100 times you can't feed clowns to the pigs. It makes them taste funny. They either just moved to the next part of their script or told me to wang off and hung up. And then in a rage that call a dozen times to tell me to wang off again. So they just wasted more of their own time. That's funny. That is funny." Mountain Dew Code Dead says, always get a chuckle out of me when people came in saying how they really needed to get gas and then proceed to put $12 on a pump and the rest on $20 scratch tickets. Why are you wasting your money on scratch tickets when you need gas? All that gas. You could fill up your gas tank halfway at least, sometimes all the way, but that much. Next, we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled, Always Pay Attention to Your Email Headers. Years ago, I dealt with a colleague who was always liked to be in everyone's business, and he liked to reply inappropriately to messages in terms of giving unwarranted feedback, etc. One day, I sent out a message to people in the org about the status of a project, and I needed to CC him in there as well. Of course, he decided to weigh in unnecessarily to all. I replied to him that if he wanted to discuss it further for some reason, we should take it offline. He replied at that to all at that point, but I replied only to him. I took the other names out of the distribution. I added private to the subject line. I politely and professionally told him that I didn't appreciate the way he had interjected into something he didn't truly understand, and that in the future he should just reply to me offline if he had similar comments to make. He really didn't take kindly to that and told me that he was free to reply however he wanted and as broadly as was necessary. What an idiot. I replied to him the following: 1. I had said what I intended to say and was not arguing with him. 2. I pointed out that he was inconsistent with him with his communication and didn't like broadcasting his failings as with a certain project that had failed under his watch. And 3, indicated that I was not going back and forth with him as it was no longer a positive conversation. When I sent this email, I also changed the reply header of the message that included all of the people from the original message. He gets this message from me sent only to him with private in the subject, and my comments about his failed project and lack of professionalism made him so mad that he hits reply, but does not pay attention to how the header changes for his reply message and writes all sorts of things that I'm certain he only expected me to see. I looked at that message with exquisite humor and said and did nothing. 3 minutes later, I see a failed attempt at message recall, and my enjoyment knows no bounds. Some senior folks spoke to him that day, and he was far more circumspect in his responses to messages I sent him. For well over a month, he didn't even reply to any of my FYI messages at all. No one said anything to me about my chain mail because I ensured that part of my chain would survive public scrutiny. When a message gets you bent out of shape, be careful how you respond and always check the sending information. 100%. Capsu says, "This is the petty revenge I live for." Foolish pleasure answers, "Me too. In OP situation, I've been known to send the broad email and then send separate duplicate just to the annoying one to avoid their bad etiquette." Oh, that's a good idea. You send the message, but you send it to them separately so that they get the message, but they don't have all of the other people's information on it. But when someone sends an email concerned about something I'm responsible for and CCs a lot of people, I never reply back to just him. These are reply all situations since I want to make sure all can see what I've handled it. And when I do reply all, you better believe that they will be embarrassed to raise such stupid concern as I will make certain to point out how it was their fault. Cuts down broadly on CCing when I embarrass them every time. But people reach out directly for help. I will bend over backwards to support. I used to get messages like the boss would send a message out, "Hey, everybody, have a good weekend," or "Have a good long weekend." Usually it was long weekends, not every weekend, but like holidays. "Have a good holiday." And then you'd have to go through the millions of people who would who would reply all when a message was clearly just meant for her. It was like, "Oh, I don't have time for this," because they would come in the same email chain where all of my work stuff came in, and there was lots of those emails. I could get over 200 a day sometimes. It was like, stop, stop sending me these. So annoying. Coder Joe says you handed him the rope and he put his neck through it. Dysfunctional by choice says he did more than that. He tied it to the tree and jumped. Ex Radio Girl says, one of my favorite petty exchanges in my career was when I was going back and forth with a salesperson about a client. Salesperson says some nasty crap. At one point, he calls me and yells, "Did you add her to the email?" I look at the chain and said calmly, "No, but you did." Never happier than the day I learned that emails are forever and watch your words. I think he typed her name to be sure he was spelling it right. Oopsie. Yeah, she saw everything and he had to apologize. And usually guys like that are the worst about apologies. They just do not like to do it. They're like the Fonz. I'm so If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Fonzie's apology. You'll find a clip, I'm sure. Next we have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITJ for telling my boyfriend's mom She's not allowed in our bedroom anymore. Why was your mom in your bedroom in the first place? That's weird. The only time I'm in my kid's bedroom is when I'm going to her bathroom because she's in there with the kids and I need to talk to her. That's it. Yeah, kids have to be bathed. I'm 28 female and my boyfriend is 31 male. We lived together for about a year. His mom comes maybe twice a month because she lives an hour away and likes to drop food or little things for him. I used to think it was sweet, but over time I started noticing she acts way too comfortable in our apartment, especially our bedroom. The first time I got weirded out was when she came home and found she had folded the clean laundry and was sitting on the chair at the end of the bed. I thanked her because I didn't know what else to say, but I told my boyfriend later it made me uncomfortable. Since then, she has put away socks, opened the windows in our room because it felt stuffy, and once moved a basket from my side of the closet to the hallway because it looked cluttered. Why are you in their closet? What are you looking for, lady? You creeping me out. Last weekend, I got home from work and realized she had been there again because my nightstand drawer was half open and a bottle of prescription cream I keep in the back was now sitting out front. I was mortified. I told her directly but calmly that I needed our bedroom to be off limits from now on, and that if she wants to help, she can stay in the kitchen or living room. That's fair. That's all she should be in anyway. She got very quiet. My boyfriend later said I made her feel like a thief when she was only trying to be nice. Well, she was invading my privacy. She's stealing my privacy. So, yeah, she's a thief. I said nice people do not go through private spaces after being hinted at multiple times. Now he says I owe her an apology, and I really don't, excuse me, I really don't think I do. AITJ, no. Jen is the top rated comment, and she says, not accusing you of being a thief. I'm accusing you of being nosy and intrusive in my private space. There's absolutely no reason for you to be in our bedroom or snooping on my nightstand. I'm not going to apologize for telling you that's not okay and needs to stop. And TJ. General Road answers, the boyfriend is the one who needs to apologize to his girlfriend for being a mama's boy. 100%. Second top rated comment is Lainey of Wales. And she says, there are apologies owed, but not from you. Your boyfriend owes you one for not taking care of his nonsense from his mother. His mother owes you one for her being nosy, busybody who needs to mind her own business. Uh, Grills Nuggets answers, the way the boyfriend is acting is a huge red flag. It seems like he's oblivious to how inappropriate his mother is being, and she has likely normalized this behavior for him. Unless boyfriend changes his tune and starts standing up for OP, I don't see much of a pleasant future for this relationship. True. Their top rated comment is from Old Revolution, and they say, she has violated your privacy. You have every right to be upset. You should get doorknob that locks. OP says the lock might be the next step, but because apparently stay out like an adult was not enough. Yeah, she shouldn't be. That's really creepy. Really creepy. Next is from Entitled People, and it's entitled, my dad's ex thinks she's coming on a free family vacation, after she said nasty things about us the last family vacation. Why is your dad's ex coming anyway? So my dad has been dating this woman for about a year. I call her Anne. I really, really liked her. My dad has pretty bad taste in women, so I was pleasantly surprised. She and I hung out a lot, and she went out of her way for me, got me gifts, insisted we had a girls' nights, just the two of us, and bought us matching bracelets and pajama sets and all of that. Now, I don't have a relationship with my mom. She was an abusive deadbeat, and Anne knew this, and I feel like she really tried to step into the mom role for me, even though I'm almost 30. And I'll admit, um, that broken little girl inside of me ate it up. I really thought she actually cared for me. Anyway, she and my dad broke up when we were at our family cabin celebrating my grandma in an explosive fight. Well, her blowing up at him. She said some really nasty things about our entire family. I'm the only daughter, and she really targeted me for some reason. That sounds awful. She said I was fat and superficial, and I took hours doing my hair and makeup because I was obsessed with male attention, and that I used my body to make money. I'm a bartender. Obviously, you're not fat then, if you're. If you're able to use your money body to make money, you're probably not fat, or at least not fat enough to be called out for being fat, which shouldn't happen anyway. Um, and that he raised little a little sloot. You get it. There was more that, but that kind of what stuck to me. She also called my gay brother homophobic slurs, implied he was gay due to my dad failing to raise him, and that my other brothers are probably gay too. And she said she'd have her sons kick their asses and said my grandma is a fat old bitch. So nasty stuff. She didn't say it was in front of us, but we could all hear her since they were inside the backpack. Dude, if you're going to say mean things about somebody, at least make sure they can't hear you. The reason she dumped him is unclear, but it seems like she was mad that he bought a house close to my grandma and she wanted him to move closer to her family. They don't live together, but I do think that when he told her he was buying the house, she thought it involved her. And I mean, that might have been a reasonable assumption, but still. Anyway, it was around a month ago, and my dad has said she reached out to talk and wants to work things out. No, absolutely not. Not after that. Like, I will never like this person again. You better think twice, Dad. My dad's considering it because he's a moron who lets crazy women treat him and our family like garbage. He said she's sorry and he didn't mean it. And she didn't mean it. Then why did she say it? And she loves me and she has some issues because her dad cheated on her. And I'm like, what? So she can manipulate me and lie to my face while she secretly thinks awful things about me, just using me to get closer to my dad and look like a good person because she was cheated on? Okay. That's what they said. Okay. Now here's why she's entitled. My brother's aunt, uncle, and I booked a family cruise for our dad's birthday. So it'll be my brother's cousins, our partners, grandma, and my uncle and aunt and their partners. And of course my dad, and at the time her as well. We paid for all of it, and again I'm not rolling in cash myself, but we thought it would be a nice gift because my dad loves cruises and grandma is fading away. And she's never left the country before, and my dad adores her. Aw, that sounds like a sweet little family there. We paid for the cabin Anne and my dad would have stayed in, both of their plane tickets. And Miss Anne thinks she's still coming. No. She was shocked to hear that her plane ticket was canceled. My dad wants us to reconsider, and we have told him that if she thinks she's coming, then we will give away his cabin and he can either stay home or book another cruise because this one's sold out already, and I'm pretty sure at least the room's in his price range. So Anne never apologized to us, said nasty things about us, and thinks she's coming on a free cruise that we paid for. And she's so upset because she already bought a bunch of swimsuits or whatever. Well, she can go on some vacation somewhere. Sorry, Anne, I didn't want to subject you to my fat body in a bikini while I'm on the beach. Better if you stay home. 100%. Holy cow. That was a yarn. Particular try says my money is she's eyeing off a free cruise. She'll show up for the cruise and then break up with your dad again. All the buttering up and reconnecting is a cheap price to pay for a holiday. Yeah, that's true. No BSing here answers. 100% this will be her. On the last day of the cruise, she'll make a scene and dump his butt. I doubt she'd wait till they were home. This isn't a cruise that stops at a lot of places. I don't know if they all do that. No, they don't all do that. Some of them don't stop at any places. They just go out and back. There's a Disney cruise in Singapore that just goes out and back. I've been looking at a lot of cruise stuff lately. Uh, Ben and David are great, by the way. They're fun. Um, anyway, you could take her and leave her at some random country. I suspect that's harder than it sounds, but and they do leave port without all and do they leave port without all of their guests? Yes, they will. Yes, they will leave port. You're not messing. The only time they'll stay is if it's a cruise related excursion, and if the excursion that a bunch of people on the cruise are on, then they'll wait. But otherwise, you're no. It'd be easy to leave somebody. Particular try says if you intentionally mislead her and abandon her as a result in another country, she can sue you for costs. I wouldn't do that. If she creates a serious disturbance and is tossed off by the captain, that's on her. If she claims your father is dangerous and has assaulted her, he gets tossed off and she gets a free cabin. And the rest of you have to go have a go at it about you're off too. If she creates a scene and you are all out to sea, then someone, not necessarily her, whomever it makes sense to manage most, will be contained until land and then someone tossed off. I would say your dad, after the scene she created the last time you broke up, we aren't having her with us on this cruise. Even if she shows up, I paid for this and I have taken her off the list. Even if you two are dating again, I'm not risking a scene like that on the cruise and us getting tossed off the boat for problem behavior. If she's serious about you, she will A, apologize for the awful things she said last time, and B, understand that we are not going to risk that on our holiday. And if she's in it for the long haul with us as a family, she will understand she needs to take time to rebuild trust. And then do that. Take her off the ticket to the dad's cabin. Better yet, put dad with mom and cancel a cabin. No, you can't do that. No. Oh, with grandma. Put dad with grandma and cancel a cabin. Rearrange yourselves for better grouping and hold firm. Somebody says let dad have his own cabin for rebounding issue reasons. Second top rated comment is from Tomokado. uh, and they say, I want to break up with you and your entire family are the vilest garbage on the face of the planet. Oh crap, I forgot about the free cruise. Totes don't mean any of that, you silly Billies. You know I love you, tee hee. Third top rated comment says, some suits are non refundable, but respect is earned. Yes, exactly. Um, next is expectation versus reality. And it is entitled, My Airbnb host used some creative lighting in the listing. um, there's only a couple of pictures, so I'm going to show you a different one after this. I'll just have to look it up. Oh, that's what they got. Ew. Horrible. I think that's more than just some creative lighting. That's like out and out A. Wow, that's wild. Creative lighting, no kidding. Okay, I have one of my own I was going to show you anyway. That's not what I wanted. Da, 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 da. I sent it to myself, so we're all good. Um, maybe I didn't send it to myself. Darn it. Hold on, I'll have to find it. Why is this not working? This is it. Okay. I found it. Yay me. Okay. This is 400 $445,000, 4 bed, 3 bath, about 2,900 square feet. And it kind of goes with the other one because it looks way better than this. How do I know this? I went in this house last week. They're having an open house. Okay. The realtor really should have turned the lights on because it does not look this nice. This is not all shiny and stuff. It is a flat, nasty thing. Also that, also these. Um, can't really tell, but this definitely needs painting up here. It was the second owner, so you'd be the third owner after the original owners for this house. I got a lot of information from the realtor. She was clearly bored. It's not a terrible house, but it needs a lot of work. Like, what is all this stuff on the wall? I don't know. Did they try painting it at some point? I don't know. This kitchen, this does not do this kitchen justice because this kitchen is way, way, like, you're gonna have to be doing some work for this kitchen. I don't know if the sound system worked. Now, this is the deck needs to be completely redone. Um, it is on a lake, a little bitty quiet lake, which is nice. A no wake lake. This right here is terrifying because and I can just see kids dropping off of it. The upstairs is basically a master suite. The door is really nice. I really like the door. The chandelier is pretty cool too. Like I said, that kitchen, these tiles over here are cracked, so you're gonna have to do something with the kitchen floor. Like you can see right there where it's cracked. Um, this countertop does not look that nice, and this is not white. It's a dull, dingy white. Um, another picture of the deck out to the lake. Um, they were very big on these accordion doors. Some of them you couldn't open. The laundry area is nice. I will give them that. I like. This is the upstairs. Um, you can see right here where things are falling apart. Um, they didn't even bother cleaning this up. It's terrible. It's terrible. You can see where it needs to be repainted desperately. This over here, what they call it a screened-in porch or a screened-in balcony. It is not. It is a glassed-in weird little room outside of the master bedroom. It's weird. There's a weird sink out here. Why is there a sink out here? I don't know. Clearly, this is not screened. This is all glassed in. I mean, you could do something with this. Don't get me wrong, but it's a weird little space. It's an add-on. It's clearly an add-on. This is the upstairs landing. Um, the upstairs is all basically the master suite. This door right here I got to open, so I don't know what's back there. The other side just had a shelf. Don't know what this weird brown spot is in the bathroom. Like, what's that from? And what is it? And why is that lighter? So you're gonna have to redo this whole bathroom. This is what the kitchen really looks like, is like this, where it's messed up. You can see where it's messed up and stuff. That's the kitchen cabinets too. This is in the basement. This part right here looks to be like a some sort of a stage area. I mean, this could be a really fun area. Don't get me wrong. And I assume you get the pool table, which is add on. So you can see this is raised staged little area. This was what did they call that? I don't know, but there's another sink in a bedroom type area. I forgot what they called that. We'll get to it because it's got the layout. These are the bedrooms in the downstairs. Do not know why the sink is there in the corner. Why? I don't know. It's very odd. The bathrooms all need to be redone. Now we're back in the laundry room again. Why didn't we do this? Like, I don't know why they do their photos. So as you can see, that's the primary bedroom. There is a weird bedroom over here. There's the loft area and the screened balcony, and then the bathroom. I mean, you could make this into a closet, a nice walk-in closet. Um, this is the main floor. This is where we came in. This is the kitchen. I want to show the laundry. There was something off of here. Um, Laundry area, the bath, living room, foyer, dining room. The deck is really nice, but like I said, needs work. This is where the billiard room is. There is okay, this is not realistic to what it is. The stage area is right here. And then there's an outside door here that's not even listed. And then there's a shower right here. I'm telling you, it's all kinds of weird. And then you have the 2 bedrooms in this weird room with that sink's not listed on there either. And then the other bedroom, which has its own bathroom. But how's this supposed to have a bathroom? Oh, the bathroom. Oh no, you gotta go around. They could have made a nice Jack and Jill bathroom there. But it's just a weird little house. And we see where this door is. That's the door. That door's not on those plans. And right next to that wall is the shower. On a stairwell. It's really weird. It's a very, very strange little house. 100% for sure. I gotta see. I gotta keep up with this house because I gotta know. Built in 1972, it's on half an acre, which is nice. It's on a nice big lot. Um, it says it's 4 bedrooms, but really it's only 3 because you're not counting that other room as a bedroom. I'm so confused by it. Roof's 7 years old. The HVAC system is 8 years old, so that's not bad. I mean, it's big enough. It's just weird. Says it's 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 full and 1 half bath. Three bedrooms in the basement. They're counting that room as a bedroom. It's not really a bedroom. It has a sink in it. Why does it have a sink in it? Why are there extra sinks all over this house? It's just weird. What are the taxes on this? Taxes are about $3,300, $3,400 a year. So not bad. They did have it for sale earlier. They've been in it since 2020, since 1994. Yeah, they've been living there since 1994. So a long time. They were in that house a long time. But they did nothing to upgrade it in that time. It's crazy. Except for maybe the roof and the HVAC, which they probably were forced to do. They had it listed for 474 and now it's 444. 475 to 445. It needs a lot of work. It's going to cost you some money to upgrade it. The smaller houses are all like in the low 300s, but the ones on that side of the street are all in the 500s, $500,000. So it's probably worth if it was kept up and stuff. Why is it state road? Oh, that's the school rating. Schools are good. Highly recommend the schools. That's where my kids graduated from. So yeah, that was wild. Had no idea. You just don't know. Like it looks like a normal house and it is not normal at all. And not kept up. Craziness. All right. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email titled submission. If you would like an email link to today's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and the email address is in the description. And that was expectation versus reality, not the real estate section. But so you get two real estates today. This is from the real estate segment, and it is entitled Ombre Pink Shotgun House in New Orleans for $310,000. That seems reasonable. Actually, it's price cut. It's now $299,000. What's this doing? Oh no, we're not doing that. We're not doing a walkthrough. Oh, here's the photos. I'm doing that so weirdly. Okay. So this is the little cute pink house. It's an ombre because it goes from the white down to the pink. They did an ombre. What's that called? There's a new HBO has a new, well, I guess it's Food Network, has a new cooking competition, Ultimate Chef or something like that. I've been enjoying it. It's got a yellow door. I think I'd paint the door a different color. Does end in Pepto-Bismol green though. Green. Pepto-Bismol pink. Pepto pink. That's cute, the little swings there. It's a cute little thing. It's very, very decorated. Is this person a teacher? Because these look like art projects from kids. And the TV's too high, by the way. TV's much too high. There is a subreddit for that, by the way. I'm not angry about the chandelier over over the kitchen island there. Very galley kitchen. There is a room. I don't know what room. Is that what is that back there? Why is the couch in front of it? Very tiny laundry area. Teeny, teeny, tiny. Why is there a curtain? Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's so nasty. Why would you do that? Put up a new curtain if you're going to sell your house. That is nasty. And why is there a curtain behind the toilet? I am so confused. In that bedroom? And another bathroom without the toilet. Curtain. Oh, that's cute. Like painted on the siding to fit the rest of the house. It's very sweet. Little teeny tiny yard. Looks like it needs a little bit of work. You have a nice little porchy decky area. Okay, and there's so it's the living room and the kitchen. Oh, I'm guessing that was a bedroom. Hall, bathroom, primary bath, primary bedroom. It's just 2 bedrooms. A utility room. So I'm thinking the second place couch was just this bedroom. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a bedroom. So this is supposed to be a bedroom. And there we have it. Two in one. You can also do a walkthrough if you can buy Godzilla. If you need to know what it is, just email me biddybrunchbunch at gmail.com and tell me what date it was and that it was the real estate section, and I will send you a link. I can do that. I keep records of everything. I swallowed a Lego. That's not healthy. I swallowed a Lego says, I mean, I don't hate the inside. Quiet down, please says it's a weird combo of nice and colorful and millennial gray. um, Gizmo driver says that's how I decorate neutral colors for permanent, semi-permanent things like walls and cabinets, and a lot of color for other things you can move around like art and furniture. Yeah, exactly. That's what you kind of want to do anyway. Chris and Bliss says I'm questioning the super long curtain right behind the toilet, even if there's a window there. Get a curtain that fits. And Shrimp Detective says the bottom of that curtain looks like it's soaked in urine. I told you it was gross. Uh, Sajashi says this grossed me out so bad. Shame on the realtor for not fixing that, at least for the pics, and shame on the owners for being okay with it in general. Barf. Yeah, it was gross. Next, we have Signs with a Story, and it is entitled "Huh?" HA question mark. It's pretty funny. No checks, but checks are welcome. Check the people from the Czech Republic are welcome, but no checks. Can't write a check, but you can have a check. Pretty Handle says no English. Um, check. Username check. How's this? No checks. He's sad. Super funny. Profiles answers them. Username checks out. Checks spelled both ways. Poor checks. Next, we have confession. It's entitled "Faked Appendicitis to Get Out of School," and they actually took it out. Oh my. Yeah, because they will do exploratory surgery. When I, now 38 female, was a kid, I faked sick a lot. Towards the end of my fourth grade year, I realized I needed to up my game if I wanted to keep missing school. Both my dad and brother had appendicitis, so I knew it was on the lower right side of the body. Woke up the next day and pretended to have said pains. Things went great at first. No school, house to myself. Then later that night, my parents invited my neighbor over who was a nurse. She asked me some questions, pushed on my stomach. The next thing I know, I'm being taken to the hospital. They ran a myriad of tests. Weirdly, my white cell count's high, even though I wasn't really sick. They do an ultrasound, and I almost pee my pants. Those things are the worst. My son went through all of this when he had appendicitis. Lastly, they even sent in the official diagnosis doctor. Basically, he's like House. He asks me all these weird questions and pulls and pushes on random limbs. I say ow randomly, hoping I don't get made. They didn't make you jump up and down? Okay, so my kid must have like the pain threshold of Hades or of Hercules because he goes to the doctor. It's Saturday. He's not feeling well. You can tell he doesn't feel well. He doesn't really have a fever, so I'm not thinking too much about it. But my husband's like, I don't like how his eyes look. They look glassy. I think you should take him to the doctor. So try to call the doctor. They're full. They're like, come in after hours clinic afternoon. So we go in afternoon. Luckily, it was our doctor that we saw there all the time because they rotated doctors there. So she was familiar with us. She looked at him. She looked him over. She's like, I don't think there's anything really wrong with him, but he's showing like some symptoms of appendicitis, and I really rather be safe than sorry. So I want you to go up to the ER. So I take him to the emergency room, and we're there for hours, of course, because you're always there for hours. We get taken back. There's a car accident, so they're bringing in all kinds of injured people. The person across from us is throwing up continuously. I don't even know what he was throwing up at that point because he shouldn't have been throwing anything up. It was disgusting, and I don't do well with that. Um, so they come in and they poke him and they prod him and they take his blood and they have him jump up and down. And then the doctor comes in and he says, "Well, his white blood cell count is high, so something's going on." And he pokes him and prods him and makes him jump up and down. He says, "I don't think it's appendicitis. I'm gonna order an ultrasound." So he goes to the ultrasound. He comes back. The ultrasound technician's like, "It can't be. It's inconclusive, but it can't be appendicitis because he wasn't hurting enough." Somebody else comes in and pokes and prods and makes him jump up and down. Finally, the surgeon comes back again. And it was a heart surgeon because it's ER and you get what you get. And he says, "I don't think it's appendicitis, but there's something going on. We need to take a look." So 9 o'clock at night, finally, they take him back and they take out he's like, "So we're going to take out his appendix no matter what's going on, but we're also going to look around and make sure, if that's not it. And I don't think it is. We're going to find out what's wrong with him, or at least do our best." So goes in, comes back, doctor comes out, he goes, "Oh yeah, his appendicitis was bad." It was bad. He's like, "That kid has no pain threshold at all." He's like, "I've never seen anybody." He says, "I've seen adults come in here and none of them act like that kid did." And we took him home. He stayed overnight. We brought him home the next day. He was 10 at the time. Um, they're like, here's painkillers. Well, he can use this and this and that. He never took one painkiller. It was laparoscopic, so they didn't actually he had 3 little stitches in 3 different areas, 1 stitch per little hole, and, he was fine. Um, we had just gotten a pool put in, and he couldn't go in the pool, which was a bummer because it was summer. And my friend was coming up with her 2 kids to spend a week. Um, so she brought up her kids, and, we had taken back to the doctor right before she got there, and they're like, "He can't, go in the pool for at least 10 days." And it had been about 7 days. So we take him to the heart surgeon heart surgeon's office to have his stitches, taken out or whatever, and I'm like, when can he go in the pool? Because we just got a pool." And he says, "Oh, he's fine. He can go in the pool." He's like, "He's a healer, and he's fine. Take him in the pool." So he got to come home and jump in the pool, which was fun. But yeah, it's hard when you're a parent and that you're going through that, especially since they didn't think, I mean, it's appendicitis, that's one thing. You know that they're gonna get in there, they're gonna take the appendix out and everything's gonna be fine. But when you don't know what's going on and they're telling you, "I don't think it's appendicitis, but something's bad's going on," that's scary, man. That's really scary. When it's just the unknown of it is scary in and of itself. All right. Lastly, they even send in the official diagnostic doctor, basically he's house. He asks me all these weird questions and pushes and pulls on limbs, and I say out randomly, hoping I don't get made. They ask me 35 times whether it's my first period, and after the 35th, no, they send me upstairs to prep for surgery. This is where I start to internally freak out. I'd gone too far, and I felt like I couldn't back out, and I was terrified, and my parents were going to flip out on me. So I went through with it. Recovering from surgery was one of the most painful experiences of my life. And it wasn't until I told my therapist about 10 years later that I even realized how dangerous it was. Edit. I find it kind of funny that a story about me making a huge lie is accused of being a lie. Karma, I guess. Second edit. Tons of people are commenting about an ultrasound not being painful. They had to fill me up with liquids for the test, and then they pushed down on my bladder with the wand thing. So she wasn't having an ultrasound for appendicitis. She was having an ultrasound for pregnancy. It wasn't much painful as super uncomfortable because I felt my bladder was going to explode. They ran other tests, but it was 28 years ago, and I don't remember. Realistic drag, or well, helpful grapefruit says, "This is like reading a storybook. I can't imagine you had surgery just to miss school." Weird things happen, though. Realistic drag says, "I wouldn't believe this either. Nurse here, but my mom confessed that she did this as a kid, and they actually took her appendix out. I was bewildered, so now I'm not so sure this is a lie." uh, Asfan is the second top rated comment, and they say, "Are we just going to ignore that person is top 1% poster? That's a lot of confessions for someone who's only 38." Crazy Lake Slauger says it's copied from Toni Collette. She told the story on The Late Show and other podcasts. Her acting to get out of school was so good they actually took out her appendix. Accidentally Cool says Elise Myers has a similar story, so obviously it's not that unusual. Chemical Lunchbox is the third top rated comment, and they say the fact that you had an ultrasound is the worst makes me think this is a load of crap. They are painless unless you have a hot abdomen, especially since you're not ready in any pain. Therefore, they wouldn't have even had rebound tenderness. Um, Somebody else says they feel like nothing. Okay, Maximum says in kids, they actually do usually start with ultrasounds to rule out appendicitis of BMI as normal. Regardless, the story sounds fake or there's actually inflammation in this person's appendix. Maybe that's why they didn't feel like going to school. This is interesting AF, and it is entitled Masahisa Fukase photographed his wife, Yoko Wannabe, every morning from the window of their apartment in Tokyo as she left for work. There may be several photographs here. Looks like she's kind of over it. It's really funny. Why you wear a halter top to work, girl? That's not appropriate. That's pretty cool. That is interesting AF. Tickle Vader says, "Look at that wardrobe. If it were me, I'd look the same in pretty much every other picture." Aromatic Elephant says, "She really has a fun style. If it was me, I would be like, there's my favorite oversized sweatshirt. Here's the second favorite. Here's the first one again. Here's the sweatshirt that comes out when the top two are both in the laundry. Here's the first one again." And Sudden Yoke says, "I see we have the same fashion sense." I do try to wear a different top every day for the show. Otherwise, I'd be wearing the same same shirt every day too. Masahisa Fukasi divorced his second wife, Yoko Wannabe, in 1976 after a tumultuous 13-year marriage defined by his intense obsessive photographic focus on her, notably for the series From Window. Yoko felt objectified and not only seen through his camera lens, leading to their separation, which plunged Fukasi into a deep depression and inspired his most famous Ravens series. Wow. So she did not like the photos, as was obvious in some of those photos. Next, we have Am I the A-hole? It's entitled AITA for not playing dumb on a double date. And it's flared as everyone sucks. This happened years ago, but I told the story recently. Some of my friends acted like I was an a-hole. I used to work with this girl, Chelsea, who would tell me that she always thought I would be a good fit for a friend of hers, Nicole. Each time she said this, I felt like she had no idea. We have had this conversation before, and I was actively getting better at navigating the conversation. For example, I had gone from, "Is she cute?" to, "What do we have in common?" And she had gone from rolling her eyes to tell me that we're both tall. That sounds like a reason to date someone. We're both tall. Chelsea is very attractive, and her friends match including the stereotypical, very attractive tall blonde named Nicole. And I really wanted Chelsea to follow through with setting us up, but she never did while we worked. Fast forward a few years, I run into her again. Chelsea is working at this high end liquor store near my office, and I see her from time to time. She mentions Nicole again, says we would be a good fit. And this time I really push for the setup. She tells me the same spiel about how Nicole is also tall. We have the same sense of humor. She's a waitress at a nice restaurant nearby, as well as other interests. Which restaurant? I'll go check her out myself. Chelsea tells me that she remembers one day I chatted her up about The Walking Dead at work, and after work, she was hanging around with Nicole, who basically repeated everything I'd said earlier. We exchanged numbers, and later that day, she tells me a time and place. The plan is for Chelsea, her fiance, Nicole, and myself. I creep her social medias, and it's pretty obvious it's wildly out of my league, Nicole. The next morning, she tells me we need to postpone, but it sucks, but it happens, and we schedule it for the following week. Same place, I come prepared. New haircut, new outfit, study the menu, everything I could think of to put my best foot forward. I'm introduced to a very different Nicole. This Nicole is short, fairly overweight, works at daycare. I can tell from everyone's reaction that I'm visibly disappointed. I decided to go through with the date, but I just keep bringing up the conversation about what I knew about her, asking questions like, when did you get bored of The Walking Dead? How long have you been a waitress? And, oh, Chelsea mentioned that you have been friends since you were kids. Chelsea was trying her best to talk around it, but Nicole was visibly upset. The girls went to the bathroom. The fiance asked me WTF was I doing, and I told him that Chelsea obviously meant to set me up with someone else. He said she did, but Nicole kept asking to postpone and clearly wasn't interested. So she found someone else more in my league. I gave him a sharp look and he followed, okay, she found another Nicole. Yikes. That's just rude. Yeah, you can't swap people out like that. They're human beings, not goldfish. I don't think he's the asshole at all. Like, just because he was let on, like, she should have known that. She should have known that. uh, Artemarcy says ESH except for the new Nicole. No, I think both Nicole and OP are not. YTA, this new Nicole didn't deserve to be embarrassed. She probably didn't know what was going on, and you went out of your way to be weird to teach her your coworker a lesson. Well, Nicole needed a lesson too, and that is to not trust former coworker, not to trust Chelsea. Chelsea was not her friend. You could have made some excuse to leave the day early. You could have just had dinner with friends and their plus one, and then told off a coworker later. You could have rolled with it and maybe met a really nice person, but you chose whatever that was. Real Nicole was right to blow off this whole thing. Real Nicole was lucky to dodge a bullet. What an uncool situation, ESH, except for Nicole, too. If you did not make her feel uncomfortable, you would not be the a hole. Could have acted nice and normal. She has no guilt in this. Chelsea's the problem here, not him. She could have told him, hey, Nicole's not going to make it. I got another Nicole for you. And she could have asked somebody else, one of our other friends. Next is Overheard, and it is entitled Meet the Parents. Overheard my sister's. Oh, there's a turkey. There's a giant turkey in my yard. No babies yet. Sorry. That's better than a squirrel. This is from Overheard, and it is entitled Meet the Parents. Overheard my sister's new boyfriend talking to my dad. This happened during his first dinner with my family. Boyfriend, I heard you used to work as a prison guard. Dad, a long time ago, yes. Boyfriend, can I ask you something weird? Sister, Kyle, we're eating. Boyfriend, okay, never mind. Dad, what's your question, Kyle? Sister, it's a dumb question, Dad. Dad, Kyle. Boyfriend, Kyle. Okay, during your time as a prison guard, did you have to look in prisoners' buttholes to check for drugs or whatever? Dad, yes. Kyle, how many buttholes did you see? Dad, per day? Boyfriend, in total, hundreds, thousands? Dad, yes. Boyfriend, but I've never even seen my own butthole. Sister, please stop saying butthole. Boyfriend, sorry. Top rated comment is from Nondescriptish, and it says, "Boyfriend, cheers. Dad, bottoms up." Clark Delicious says, top rated comment, "Dad, see those spaghetti O's you're eating? It looks just like those." Effie Baby says, "I would so have to serve round objects with holes every time he came over." Groovosaurus says, "Onion rings, calamari, sliced olives, bagels, donuts, Babel cheese with a hole in the middle, lifesavers, fuzzy peach rings." That was Leslie's weirdest grazing board ever. Lobster Boy Dick says, "How come? How come it turns out all my favorite foods are buttholes?" All right, we're not doing the third one. It's inappropriate, even more inappropriate than the rest of it. Next, we have True on My Chest, and it is entitled, "I befriended the girl he told me not to worry about, and I told her I wasn't really interested in him." I'm 37 and my husband passed away 3 years ago. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. The last time I was dating was when I was 19. Now I feel ready to start dating again, but I have no experience of dating in my late 30s, so I just assumed it would be totally different from when I was in 19, but alas. I met this guy and we went on several dates. I really liked him and enjoyed spending time with him. He seemed to enjoy spending time with me until he started getting way too many texts, especially on our dates. And he smirked and smiled at his phone. And last time we hung out at my place, it was too excessive. And I finally asked if everything was good. He laughed and said yes. It was his best friend is teasing him about being on a date. I must have looked a certain way because he said it was one of his best friends. I know what you think. She's just a friend. And I will not play the choose me over your friends game. I asked him what he meant, and he said girls, women in the past have had problems with his friendship with her. I felt the driest down there that I have ever felt in my life because, ew, are we still playing these games? I said nothing, however, but any kind of liking I had for him went out the window. The texts and calls continued every time we met for dinner. Why are you still dating him then? If you're getting the ick from him, then don't date him again. Weirdo. The texts and calls continued every time we met for dinner or a movie, and now even actual calls. Under one dinner, she called 4 times, and they talked for probably 20 minutes. And I said nothing at this time, and he looked a bit embarrassed and apologized. So stop. He needs to stop answering. I asked how he managed his life if they talk so much all the time, and though I knew she never contacted him before he started talking about serious feelings for another woman. He seemed to think about it too and said it wasn't like that. No surprise there. D Day arrived when I was supposed to meet his friends. She was the first one to jump and be most excited to see him and meet his new girlfriend. She was very nice and polite and cool, actually. I was happy to see her, of course. I told her that her best friend told me everything about her. Kind of hit it off in a weird way because she was very confused. I told her I was new in town and she said that she could show me where the best places were. As my newfound bestie, she of course asked me how he was, and my answer was very underwhelming and it surprised her. I told her that I wasn't looking for anything serious because I didn't see a future, but that we were having fun now. Her face looked as she was thinking that that text and call hysteria was over a fun now situation. She said that she was under the impression that we were heading somewhere serious, and I told her no. She changed the subject, and I thought she would never text or call him again when he's with until he's with the next one. He changed towards me, and I assumed that she told him about my feelings. He's more subdued, and I guess he will want to talk with me soon. Her phone is radio silent, however, when we're together. I even mentioned it, and he looked puzzled and said, "Yeah, she's probably busy." Then he grinned and says she's like that, disappears in periods. I wanted to say, yes, she disappears when you're available to her again, but I didn't. I felt sorry for him. Having feelings he doesn't want to admit for someone who will never have him must be a real pain, especially for so many years and so many girls who gave up. I could have warned him, but maybe I have a feeling he would in his mind accuse me of jealousy and rivalry because men like him don't know or want to know that we are capable of having any other opinions about our own sex other than jealousy and rivalry. Plant Master says, I'm not sure why the other commenters here are so confused. This is such a common situation that I've played out 100 times. The dude OP is dating and his female BFF have non existent boundaries. Just like they are a couple. He may be single, but he is not actually available. The BFF will always be number one, and calling him in the middle of a date when there is no emergency on her end is a way for her to insert herself over OP. Yep. What OP here, what OP did here is the only way you win. You don't play the game. She was interested in this dude. She saw the massive red flag. She's gone from being really liking him to only seeing it as a casual relationship. I think she did the right thing. If you don't get it, I hope you're never in this situation trying desperately to get someone to prioritize you instead of talking on the phone for 20 minutes in the middle of a date with you. OP answers, I will never understand that kind of friendship. I have both male and female friendships, but I would never in a million years believe that one of my friends would choose me over a partner. Or like if I would have chosen a friend over my husband. Unfathomable. I wonder if men like him would choose a male friend over a partner, or is it always the girl's best friend? I don't know. But we've seen that story before, every time. Next, we have What Do I Do? And it is entitled, My Fiance is Getting on My Nerves and I Don't Know What to Do at This Point. I'm Hi, I'm 21 and my fiance is 19 male. Oh, they're both males. We've been together for a year now. You're too young. You're too young to be fiancés. Um, we have an overall, unfortunately, toxic relationship. He's bipolar, refuses to admit or get medicated, so his mood swings are very violent. He will love me to death, tell me I'm his dream man, never want to leave me, trust me with his life, etc. But then once something goes wrong or we disagree on something, it will immediately turn into verbal abuse on his part. That is not bipolar behavior, that is abusive behavior, sir. This is only one single scenario because I want to go out with my friends without him for a night. The other screenshots were deleted by him when he went through my phone. They contain things like I hate you, I hope you die in the most painful way, etc. Get away from this guy. This guy is a walking red house. What are you doing? What are you doing, LP? Um, he has never put his hands on me physically except one time he choked me out not in a sexual way, in anger when we had a conflict and threatened to kill me. And you didn't call the police and have him arrested because why? Because I know that they do that. Which obviously should have been long past my cue to leave. Yeah, no kidding. Yet I understand he has mental difficulties. Child abuse, been in foster care his entire life, and has a lot of PTSD and trauma. Okay, that does not excuse his behavior. Is he in any kind of counseling? Any kind. Ever. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible. Stop. Stop. Leave him before you die. He's going to kill you. Immediately admitted he was in the wrong and has never done anything similar since. I communicated this issue in the screenshots respectfully to him, and he insisted on coming along, even though he has told multiple times he does not like my friends. As soon as we got in the car, he started making insulting comments directed at my friends. I gently explained to him to please not be insulting to my friends, and he got mad, stormed off, and has texted me um, throughout the course of the night. I don't know what to do. I know what to do. It's not that hard. Most of the time, he's the sweetest, most caring, kindest man I've ever met. No, he's not. That's a facade. But those few moments when he gets angry are very scary for me. I understand when tempers overflow. I have some anger issues as well, so I do understand. But I've never come back with these 0 to 100 insults and certainly not physical aggression. I'm scared I love him so much. No, honey, you don't love him. You love the idea of him because he is not a good person. I want to spend the rest of my life, I want to spend the rest of my life with someone who can't control their emotions. It really hurts me when he texts me things like this. Original row is a top rated comment, and they say, this is how true crime starts. True crime docs start. Leave. Capital letters. Cake Stapler, he's never hurt me except the one time he did, but he hasn't done it since. Not to be dramatic, but next time there will eventually be a next time. He might just kill OP. My advice to OP, get married in about 10 years, but not to this dude. Yeah. Hey, you're too young to get married. Way too young to get married. wait till you're at least 25, and after you've dated somebody for like 5 years, or at least known them for 5 years. Passenger IC says strangulation is one of the biggest indicators that a person will escalate to kill you. um, Willow Star says, dude, this choking statistic isn't just for women, it's for anyone who gets choked by their male partner. Your odds of being murdered by him within a few years went up a whole bunch when he did that. It's hard that he has mental issues. I get that. But you're not the one to fix it or has to stand by to do nothing. You've been together for a year. Already this has happened, including engagement. You said he doesn't want treatment for his bipolar, then your obligation is to stand by his side has expired. Exactly. Take Me Home Tonight says, my recommendation would be to have some self respect and get rid of this guy. Are you kidding me? Opie says, this is what I expected. I think I've known this in the back of my mind for quite some time now. I just don't know how to leave, to be quite honest. He's living with me right now, and it's my house, and I'm not sure how to go about this. It's like, kick him out. Key Mango, kick him out. Not in those some words, but um, yeah. OP's just got to break up with him. That's all there is to it. Next, we have entitled parents. Entitled, my mother told my in laws why my first marriage really ended because she was tired of them judging our family. And now my second husband says he does not know how to trust her around anything important. Hmm. Sounds like a difficult situation. I, 36 female, got remarried last year. My first marriage ended about 5 years ago, and it was one of the worst periods of my life. There was no affair or crime or huge reveal, just a long private collapse that involved counseling, a miscarriage, months of resentment, and eventually me leaving when I realized I had started feeling relief anytime my ex was not coming home. Perfectly reasonable time for uh, for a divorce. I rebuilt my life very carefully after that. I am married now to a genuinely kind man. His parents are polite but old school in a very specific way. They have made little comments at the beginning about second marriages, baggage, lessons learned, and all that smiling stuff that is technically civil and still makes your skin crawl. I mostly ignored it because I am too old to keep auditioning for approval. My mother apparently was not ignoring it. A few weeks ago, there was a lunch after my niece's recital, and I was not even there yet because I got stuck in traffic. Somehow, my husband's mother made one of those remarks about how it is a good marriage began on a cleaner foundation. My mother decided it was insulting and responded by telling the table exactly why my first marriage ended and how much I went through privately before leaving. Not just broad strokes either. She brought up miscarriage counseling and said people should be ashamed of themselves for acting like divorce happens because women are frivolous now. I mean, mom's not wrong and she is looking out for you, maybe doing about the wrong way, but her heart's definitely in the right place. And honestly, these guys need to get their judgmental butts in gear and stop it. I found out because my husband came home looking sick and asked why his parents suddenly knew details. I've never even told him that much in depth. I confronted my mother and she said she defended me when nobody else did and that I should be grateful she shut him down. I mean, did she say that? I mean, maybe she does feel that. She's your mom. She turned into Mama Bear. My husband says her intentions are beside the point and that someone who can weaponize my private life that fast is not safe to have it close. She did not weaponize your private life. She was not weaponizing anyone. She was putting somebody in their place. That should have been done a long time ago. I feel betrayed, humiliated, and weirdly guilty at the same time. I think you're on the wrong side here, OP. Port Lap says, your husband allowed his parents to treat you badly in front of everyone's faces. This is the first time you're upset about something. Your mom shouldn't give out private details, but at least she's the first to defend you. Exactly. Honey Wine says, the in-laws have been weaponizing OP's private life since the beginning. Exactly. And hubby had absolutely no problem with that. Seems to me that he not only allows his parents to act that way, he agrees with them. So much for a genuinely kind man. He sounds more like he's genuinely not a man enough to stand up to his parents. Vegas Anvil says, yeah, the mom crossed the line, but the husband staying silent while his parents kept taking shots at OP is a way bigger problem. Exactly. As a mom, I'm on the mom side here. You don't talk about my daughter. You don't talk about my kids. Any of them. It will not go well for you. The one West says, "Why the f did you marry a man who would let his parents treat you or talk to you like that?" Percy Burt says, "And now he's trying to get her to cut off her mother. I'm wondering how great he actually is." Sporadic Tendency says, "Not a keeper. Let him be the ruined goods this time." Yeah, no kidding. Their top right comment is, "Your mother may not have done it the best way possible, but kudos to her for standing up for you. Your husband should have nipped his parents' crap in the bud. He's mad because she embarrassed him, and he should be embarrassed. How is he okay with parents digging at you all the time? I really don't like him. I don't like him either. He's a jerk." Uh, Galadriel says, "Yep, if someone was disparaging my kid like that, I would speak up too. OP is mad at the wrong person." 100%. This is from Oh No Consequences, and it is tagged as not safe for work, so be warned. Oh, and it's a video. It says Aussie man tells British backpacker that salty water crocs only eat backpackers and jumps into the water to prove this. A croc immediately attacks him. He survived. Only blood that is visible is the stain is still stained to him after his surgery. We're gonna watch this. Be warned. It might not be great.
What were you thinking that first the crocodile latched on?
I was singing, I'm gone. I'm gone for sure.
He took on a croc and somehow survived, but only barely. Now the whole country wants to know why.
I started telling them about how backpackers are more likely to get eaten by a crocodile than Australians. So we decided to go down to the river and test the theory.
This was no joke.
Idiot.
18-year-old Lee DePauw, full of Aussie bravado and bragging to a girl he'd just met.
About 10 cups of goon.
I just carried on walking with him so that he wasn't on his own. And that was when he kind of said that I'm going to do this. And I just was in complete and utter disbelief.
The British tourist he'd been trying to impress could only watch on in horror as the croc attacked, snapping onto his arm.
Started shaking its head and carrying on.
Lee jumped into the Johnston River in the early hours of Sunday morning. From the moment he hit the water, the crocodile hit him, grabbing his arm, dragging him down. He punched it in the snout, but it dragged him 6 meters and was about to perform the death roll. A split-second, desperate decision to gouge its eye saved his life. The croc released.
Swam back to the stairs with one floppy arm and pulled myself out.
Lee was covered in blood, most of it still stains him. But incredibly, frustratingly, he has no regrets. Do you understand that most of the country thinks that you're one of the stupidest people around right now?
Yeah, I do.
What's your response to that?
I'm not really. I'm just, I don't know, trying to prove a point.
I've never heard a guy scream like that. You know, he...
Hey, Lee, a lot of people are going to say, hang on, why did this young fella... Well, obviously, it's a big thing to jump into the water, but what would possibly have made him jump into the water knowing that there are crocs around? I know you've been doing it your whole life, but knowing there are crocs around, why would you do it?
Oh, for that beautiful backpacker.
Okay,
tell us about that.
Yeah, tell us about the backpacker. Why is she so special?
It's the girl. He did it for the girl.
She's not really just another girl, but she was really good looking and been kind to me the night before.
Yeah.
Smooth talker.
What's her name, the backpacker's name, who you're emotionally attached to?
Sometimes.
Hopefully.
No, mate.
Huh? Oh,
Sophie.
Sophie. And where's Sophie from?
England.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and
He's so unsure of his answers. That's hysterical. So Australian man, boy, he's only 18. Lee DePaul told the British backpacker Sophie that salties only attack tourists. After drinking 10 cups of goon, which is boxed wine, he jumps into the croc-infested water and is immediately attacked by a crocodile. I'm not sure if I'm meant to tag the person who stitched these two different news videos together, so I'm adding their TikTok name. It's Things Carla Loves. I'm looking through other videos, but only found ones that were reposted. I know some subs are very serious about referencing the original source. Jeff Sargent says about 10 cups of goon sums it up. Second top rated comment is from Ryla, and they say the reason backpackers are more likely to be bitten by a croc is because as an Aussie, you should know better. Munchkinosaurus is the third top rated comment. And they say took him a while to think of the girl's name and where she's from, considering he almost died trying to impress her. And OP says, and she says, and he says she's not that special as well. Munchkinosaurus answers again, for some reason, I don't think she's very impressed with. Says, don't sell him completely short. She's never heard a guy scream like that before. I like OP. Next, we have MAO reacting and it is entitled AIO for wanting to quit after this. Asking him to switch because his mom and brothers are coming. And whoever he's asking says no. And then he asks to take PTO or use a sick day. And he's already had a picket plan and says not every request is unapproved. And he says, I understand. So my current manager almost always gives me a hard time with requests, saying I can't guarantee anything and only saying yes at the very last minute. The specific situation, I had requested almost 4 weeks in advance just to have one of my days be off this day. I would still be working my 5 days work week, but since I work at a hair salon, we're open 7 days a week, so it would literally not change my hours whatsoever. Unfortunately, she did not give me the day off. Why not? It's a hair salon, for Pete's sake. My manager put herself working for that entire weekend, me and one other person on the Saturday I requested, and then my other 3 coworkers on Sundays, and Sundays are typically busier. She told me a while ago that she feels as though it's going behind her back to make plans without her permission. I'm sorry, I don't need your permission to make plans. When I asked for the day off, I need the day off. I'm not asking, I'm informing. Well, even if they were okay with it, I turned it down. I'm not sure why, since most shifts would be covered. So I end up asking my coworker out of curiosity if they would take in my shift, and they said yes. But since she already told me no, I quite literally can't. Why not? Just tell her, hey, so-and-so's taking my shift. I'm taking the day off. And I'm not sure if her response means that I will get in trouble for calling off using my PTO as a sick day or not. I'm really irritated. How am I supposed to plan my life out if requests aren't granted and I'm not allowed to shift with people? It literally makes no sense. I really want to call off, but I don't want to get in trouble, even though I never call off. The 2.5 years of working there, I've called off 4 times, all for legitimate reasons too, sick or car issues. Am I overreacting about the situation? It is legitimate that she is telling me no to both things, and this and other instances of her being weird around certain social situations makes me want to quit. It's just hard because I love everything else about this job. Dry Shower says, start by interviewing elsewhere. This salon cannot be so special that you cannot find similar or better opportunity elsewhere. And Lacrado says your clients will follow you. Yes, exactly. During COVID, my daughter-in-law's salon was having ridiculous, over the top, far beyond COVID expectations for them. And like, it was literally going to make them not be able to afford to work there. So she she kept working there until my son made her a studio in her own house, and then she quit. And her former supervisor was not happy. Like, she had started there and that person had trained her. But you train people to go out on their own and do their own thing, not stay with you forever. She was big mad, apparently. Second top rated comment is Tame Till Triggered. And they say, people keep fixating on this one event. This is not where your focus should be. A job will let you go without warning and replace you without a second thought. That's the reality. Income matters, yes, but you'll have multiple jobs over your life. You only get one family and they won't be here forever. Missing time with them will stay with you a lot longer than any temporary work setback. Little Mary Sunshine says, not overreacting. As someone who missed out on most of the last month of my mom's life for a job that fired me 2 months after she died, spend time with your family. Life is short. Gosh, that's horrible, Little Mary Sunshine. I'm sorry. Summit Junkie said, the move is this. 4 weeks in advance, I'm not available X date. Schedule comes out with you on that date. Reminder, I'm not available on X date. If they don't make a change, don't show up. You've given plenty of notice and you weren't available on that date. Any manager that won't allow a shift trade cares more about the power trip of controlling than actually getting the work covered. 100% true. This is not someone you want to work for. I know it's easier said than done, but enjoy your time with your mom and brother. If they fire you for file for unemployment, and either way, start looking for another job. Exactly. Fun Key says, definitely agree. Not overreacting. The whole you made plans behind my back, like, ma'am, you run a salon, not my life. Exactly. Verb says it's just toxic salon environment. Working in a salon is like high school all over again. Oh, that sounds awful. Server Life entitled, I may be a petty person, but I love this. So it's a review for Fat Fish. It's a 3-star review, so we will never run into it. The food is amazing. I have been a regular for 5 years. There are so many servers that I adore and ask for every time. Dylan, Fabi, and Yuri are my go-tos. They get the order right, serve food quick, and aim to please. The floor manager is Kendra, also so sweet and is always checking me. Now, the best sushi maker there is Nerfire. I love these people and the food. All their service is amazing except for the manager, Hernan. He is going to run his business to the ground. He's taking away menu options, shorten the all-you-can-eat, and is a Nazi control freak with the all-you-can-eat that you have to lick the plate of the bowl cleaner and he charges you full. Wanging ridiculous. I avoid this place when I see him inside. I hope the owner knows he's ruining her livelihood. For the record, I was a previous general manager here. The screenshot was sent today. Here's the context behind why I left. Is because I got sick of overbearing owners who had no idea how the restaurant works or how out of touch with it they were. In August, I put in my 6-week notice, and just days after I did, the owners became really toxic, and after the first week told me, if you aren't happy here, you don't need to work here. I said, wing it. New job lined up, and it was out of the industry. So even though it would be 2 months before I started my new job, I walked away without hesitation. Fast forward to now, and all my old servers are texting me about how crappy the place has become and how overbearing the manager is. I was the laid back manager who expected you to do your job, and if you were having a crappy day, I'd be in your corner, bussing your tables and running your food, doing your side work because your mental health was more important to me. Anyway, end of rant. I love that my old restaurant is falling apart, William. Well, except for your old coworkers that are going to get screwed in the process. Man Riley says, so many places with good managers fall apart when they leave because of crappy owners that don't understand their own business. Opisa answers, from what I've gathered, the new general manager just wants to please the owners instead of having these hard conversations I used to have. You aren't here and you don't see the day-to-day. In all honesty, they were probably sick of my pushback against their blatantly insane ideas of what needs to change in the restaurants. Out of touch, wanging idiots. Edit, employees come first. They're the reason the owners make any money in the first place. Dude. No kidding. That's how it should be. The employees should come first, and they used to. Second. Employees should come second. Customers first, employees second, everybody else third. Now it's investors first, maybe customers second, and what are employees, basically. Polyolly Oxenfree is the second topic to comment, and they say the absolute schadenfreude of watching a place collapse after you quit is actually like heroin. I was an executive chef at a place for 3 years. The owner started to constantly insist on cost cutting, buying inferior ingredients, and insisting that nothing be wasted to the point where they wanted me to serve food that was out of date and unsafe. I quit October 2005. By April 2006, they were closed down. Man Riley, again, answers, LOL, is awesome. It happened to me with 2 different places. I actually worked back to back. Both I was at over a year and was charged with making their cocktail list and running the bar program. One of them had an actually on probation pedophile bartending the days I wasn't. Yikes. He never cleaned the bar once on Sundays after bottomless mimosas, and we were closed Monday and Tuesday. I'd come in Wednesday to a wanging fruit fly fest. Would send pics to the owners every week, demanding they find someone else. I even mentioned one of our employees had to call her brother to walk her out because she didn't feel safe. It wasn't until I got a complaint from a regular that I spent my own money to background check him and find out he had been Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen tried to meet up with a 13-year-old on Craigslist and was on probation. They finally fired him. A month later, they hired his friend and gave him the general manager title. He slowly pushed me out of shifts and I bounced. They had to rename and reopen the following year. Then there was a new sockeye in Idaho. Wouldn't listen to a word I said. A year after I left, it closed down. Captain Late Night said, "Are you me? I was also a manager." Next we have expectation versus reality. I'm sorry, best of Redditor updates. I don't know. What am I doing? I slept really good last night, too. Next, we have best of Redditor updates entitled, "My husband doesn't want to play my co-worker's wedding." Okay, so originally posted to Ask a Manager. I'm confused. Our workplace is smallish, about 50 employees scattered amongst separate departments. A few months ago, I had to speak with a relatively new employee, Jane. She is in a different department than I am, and I really have to interact with her. She's a recent college grad, and this was her first job out of college. She normally gives off a friendly vibe, but during my talk with her, she was rather rude and basically insinuated I was stupid with the question I asked. After the interaction, I avoided her, and she has said and done more things in the office that give off entitlement vibes, and is incredibly frustrating. Jane has also recently become engaged and is actively searching for vendors for her wedding. As karma would have it, my husband has the biggest, most successful wedding band in our state. I help him run the business and behind the scenes, but he is the talent and is very well known in our area. I was replying to wedding inquiry emails recently when it just so happens that Jane had inquired about pricing. She stated in the email she's seen the band play multiple times, and her words, needs to have them play for her day to be perfect. That's going to cost you. I don't think she knows the wedding band and singer she wants is my husband. These emails are addressed to something like nameweddingband.com. We have a pretty common last name. I don't go out to see him play much, and he's only visited me a handful of times at work. My husband knows all the work drama and my frustration with this woman. He doesn't really want me to have to deal with all of her wedding details behind the scenes. Plus, she's probably going to be a bridezilla. You can just see it coming. Her wedding date is out far enough that he hasn't booked it yet. He also has a calendar on their website with dates that are open so clients can clearly see the date if they want it booked. Okay, that's your first mistake. Never ever do that. Or right now you go and put up vacation time. My husband suggests asking for an atrocious amount of money so that she will decline herself. I think we should just respond that there won't be a good fit and leave it at that. I want to hear you suggest what would be professional for my husband and myself. I think you should charge an atrocious amount of money if your husband is willing to go that way. Update 10 months later. I left it up to my husband about whether to reply to my coworker Jane, saying he was available for her wedding. We planned to raise the prices for next wedding season regardless, so after much thought, he responded with a quote and she accepted it. My husband told me to ignore all emails from her and he'd handle it himself. I cannot even begin to tell you the sighs my husband made every time he opened an email from her. How does that not surprise me? Most of the emails to him were just chit chat, nothing to do with the wedding planning. It was getting to the point where my husband wouldn't even respond to emails unless they had a question that he needed to answer. That's the proper way to go about that. For some context, most couples book a band about a year out. There's 5 to 10 emails in the initial booking, and then we crack down on the bulk of the stuff we need from them 2 to 3 months before. It makes perfect sense. You kind of book them, make sure you've got everything signed and settled, and then you forget about them until it's close to their wedding. So over the course of the year, we received about 40 to 50 emails from one couple. Jane sent my husband 109. Yes, I counted. 40 to 50 seems like excessive anyway. 109 emails between February 2023 until September of 2023. Now that brings us to a few weeks ago. My husband got a call from the father of the groom, the person financing this wedding, who said my husband's services were no longer needed and forfeited the deposit. My husband, not very sly at all, asked why, thinking the price was the reason. Nope. Jane has apparently been cheating on her fiance with someone at my work, and the fiance called it off. Oh, if that doesn't make me happy for some reason. I saw Jane at work a few days later, and she seemed fine, even though now I wonder which of our coworkers she has been seeing on the side. I am too. Is it John? Is it Matt? Is it Dave? Who is it? Who's getting their work noogie? Acropede says OOP gets paid and the husband doesn't have to play the wedding. Win-win. Burger Time says plus she has the juicy inside workplace, not hot gossip. If annoying coworker puts a toe out of line, OP can use the information against her or use it to subtly dig out the affair partner might be the boss. Acropede says, yeah, that's like a gallon of jug of piping hot tea with a faulty linen. Odd Neighborhood is the second top rated comment, and he says, so nice to read one of these with the infidelity tag where OP and spouse have a supportive and functional relationship. Yeah. Sweet and Salty says, yes, I had no idea where this was going, even though I knew it was going to be an Ask the Manager post. Turcano says, because it was Ask the Manager, I wasn't waiting for twins or knockout punches. This is about what I expected from this tag. The possibility that she was cheating on her fiance with the guy she was hiring as wedding band crossed my mind momentarily, but was discarded as far too outrageous, and I'm glad that I was correct. I didn't read the tag. Sorry, guys. Ms. says, husband needs a professional transcript for declining events he doesn't want to play for whatever reason. Hoping they'll say no isn't the best strategy. He's entitled to be reasonably selective over his time. That's true. He can say no to anybody. Blue Sky Ren says, really though, all you need to say is that you can't do it, and that's that. Obviously, some people will want more of an explanation, but it is not really owed, and you can even give super vague reasoning of scheduling conflict, and that's perfectly acceptable potential customer business response. Unfortunately, we won't be able to accommodate you, and we sincerely apologize is a complete sentence. All right. Last has made me smile and is entitled Little Things Go a Long Way. Douglas Ware? One of my absolute favorite things. After a PhD student dissertation defense and the committee discusses it while the student is outside the room, I love opening the door to bring the student back and say back in and simply say times and counting. Oh, that's nice. That's fun. Realistic Miracle said I had to wait for my outcome for an hour and a half because the committee had problems with the electronic signing of the documents. They finally took pity on me and told me, and then they went back to figuring out logistics. That's a long time to wait, I think. I don't know. I don't know that much about it. Oh, my phone came back on. Well, when it ran out of battery at 4:30 yesterday, I was able to turn it back on after I charged it a little bit. So it's back up and running. I hope that doesn't happen again because I'm gonna have to get a new phone, which I'm due for, but still, it's still a pain in the butt. I hate doing it. All right, everybody have a good weekend. I will see you on Tuesday, hopefully. I'm gonna work. What days? What days am I gonna work next week? Just to give you a. There it is. Oh, I guess I'll be working every day, 3 days, and then Friday I'll take off because it's the first and I got to do all the stuff for next month. So take care. Have a great weekend. I love all my biddies. Bye. Bye bye.